We'll get to the Eagles-Rams game in a second, but first, Saturday Night Football, Texans-Jets. DeAndre Hopkins saves the day with the back shoulder grab in this one.
Great release by him. Man, he was struggling with an injury. They needed a couple players to make plays down the end, and Nuke came up with the biggest one to be able to get the win on Saturday night. Man, this was an ugly football game, but he was the difference.
Just 10 for 170 when he's not at full strength. And that demonstrated how strong his hands are, man.
Seahawks, Niners, Doug Baldwin snags the ball, avoids the hit for the 35-yard touchdown.
In your era, C, you make this catch and you get your head taken off. You saw the safety, did the right thing there, tried to avoid his head, ended up avoiding his body entirely. At this moment, I thought Seattle was going to win this game.
Doug Baldwin changes this offense. You saw them struggling last week. Doug Baldwin not there. Him with a couple touchdowns in this game. Offense was a lot better as Seattle tries to get into the playoffs.
This was awesome. Steelers pats down the punt at the 1 with a ridiculous special teams effort. So it's Jonathan Jones first here, and then Rex Burkhead who tips it back in.
And then between the legs of the third player, Burkhead not getting his feet in the end zone. I don't know if it's luck or skill, but I mean, he was right on the line. This was as good of a non-scoring special teams play as I can remember. Go ahead, C.
No, it was a good play.
Oh.
Nothing to be added to that.
It was awesome.
It was a huge play in the game, too, in a defensive struggle.
Same game, Joe Hayden goes up high to pick off Tom Brady in the fourth quarter. I don't know what was better, the pick or the celebration that followed.
Getting those feet down is pretty good. Now, that celebration I thought was a little risky because there's a lot of game left to be played, and that was, I mean, only a 4-point game, and that was a hell of a. How does he get his feet down? Do you think the defenders helped him almost?
Big play by Joe Hayden, the defense that made plays all game long. This one to help seal the victory.
All right, moving on, Eagles-Rams on Sunday Night Football. Nick Foles in for the injured Carson Wentz, just like last year. All right, here we go. A little more than 11 minutes left in the third quarter, tied at 13. Foles to Alshon Jeffrey for the 50-yard gain. That put the Eagles on the 9-yard line. Next play, Wendell Smallwood. He gets in the end zone. One of his 2 touchdowns on the night. Eagles take the 7-point lead. Rams would keep fighting. Fast forward, last play of the game. Eagles blitz. Jared Goff gets the pass off. It was too high. Time runs out. That is your game. Rams lose to Nick Foles and the Eagles. 30-23 was your final somehow, some way. Eagles keep their playoff hopes alive. Here's the man of the hour, Nick Foles, after the game.
You hate for your teammate to get hurt. I've said before, you know, I feel really bad for Carson. I mean, we're tight in that QB room. But then when you don't really know what's going to happen. You start taking reps. It's been a while. You go through the human emotions. I don't care what you've done in the past or what I've done in the past. It doesn't matter when you step on that field. It's a new day. So it was really just dealing with the emotions, prepping as hard as I could, and then realizing I'm not alone. I have great teammates out there. All I have to do is spread the ball around, lean on them, stay in the moment, and we were able to do that tonight. It's a huge win for us.
If there is a higher football power, perhaps this is how they want the Eagles scripts to go now. Carson Wentz, you take us wherever you take us, and Nick Foles will climb right back into the driver's seat at the end of the season. How were Foles and the Eagles able to upset the Rams, CC?
Yeah, I'm not going to overreact to Nick Foles being the quarterback because it was definitely a team effort. That secondary looked like they went through a transformation compared to the secondary that we've seen. Now, the one thing he did, he targeted more receivers down the field, throwing the ball down the field compared to the way that they had been orchestrating their offense. And he was supported by Doug Peterson, this offense. They decided to run the ball, even though they weren't great at running it. So the combination of the offensive line, giving them the protection, and not being one-sided as far as backing him up to throw the ball 30, 45 times a game. No, they supported him by running the football, getting in good down and distance, and him and Alshon Jeffries, I don't know where he's been the last half of the season.
It's amazing.
So seeing him emerge, if he plays like that, anybody could almost be the quarterback of the Eagles. So he had the type of support not only from the outside wide receivers, but from that defense in Fletcher Cox. So impressive win by the Eagles last night in the Coliseum.
It does just look like for some reason or another that Carson Wentz's favorite target has always been Zach Ertz, and they run one style of offense. And Nick Foles, now again, we can't disregard the first 2 games of the season where Nick Foles wasn't great. The first few games he played when he took over for Carson Wentz last year. But this looked like the style of offense they were playing in those 2 great games where he was chucking it deep to Alshon Jeffrey, and Jeffrey's coming down with it. That one play we just showed in the highlight, there's 2 guys there. He underthrows them both. Either one seemingly could have caught it. Alshon was targeted 8 times. He had 8 catches for 160 yards. I don't even know that he was the one targeted there, and he comes up with a 50-yard
very,
catch.
very fortunate.
Yeah, right, absolutely. That's and so, but the other part of this is, you mentioned the Eagles secondary. The Eagles, their pass rush looked to me the best it has looked all season. The secondary, without question, played the best it has all season. They had a game-changing play when they got a rush on Jared Goff. He panicked a little bit. It was 3rd and 1. He had a bobbled snap, miscommunication, and instead of just eating it, tried to make a play. It ended up being, well, here it is. You can see it. An interception nearly returned for a touchdown. The Eagles end up scoring the touchdown that basically ices the game there. All of this Eagles team, not just the quarterback, looked totally different than it has all season long. And people need to understand the magnitude of this upset. They were 13.5-point dogs. That's the same. The Cardinals were 13.5-point dogs when they upset Aaron Rodgers and the Packers and got Mike McCarthy fired. Like, the 2 touchdown underdogs don't typically win in the NFL. I think it's the 3rd time they've won all year. And this keeps Philly's season really alive for a wild card spot.
Does it change the way you see this Eagles team, though? Do you suddenly have maybe a little more faith in them that they could perhaps do something in this final playoff push?
No. I don't think so, because I don't think their secondary will be able to hold up. They did a great job against Todd Gurley and Jared Goff in this offense, but are they going to run the ball as much as they did in this game? Because they've forgotten about the running game thus far. So I just have to go on what teams have done. They're not going to be able to change my opinion based on one game. They're going to have to be able to support Nick Foles, to be able to give them a chance to win, and that goes through being able to run the football and that defense. Can they be as relentless as they were against the Rams? That's the question in these last couple games.
I don't think the secondary can duplicate what they did, but if their defensive line and pass rush can duplicate that type of pressure, it takes a lot of pressure off their secondary. And I thought Michael Bennett was in the backfield all night. Fletcher Cox made some huge plays, got dinged, came back, made some more huge plays. Haloti Ngata, I heard his name called more in this game than I feel like in the last 4 Eagles games combined. So all of a sudden, what was the strength of their team last year, the pass rush, showed up big time last night.
And it didn't help the Rams at all that Jared Goff had arguably his worst game of the season.
Well, I mean, it was following up a dreadful game against the Bears. But the problem for Goff now is, in the first 11 games of the year, he threw 6 picks. In the last 3 games, he's thrown 7. And you saw some of the look on Sean McVay's face, like, what's happening to my beloved offense? The guys that were running wide open early in the year, weren't running wide open yesterday. Goff missed, I think it was the tight end Everett in the end zone on an easy touchdown late in the game when they were trying to come back. The Rams offense, most notably Goff, looks very different this month than it had the previous 3.
Yeah, their offense, they missed Cooper Kupp. They missed those short throws. They missed those 3rd down throws to be able to move the change. He's a change of pace. And he's also one of the wide receivers who gets great yards after the catch. So they haven't adapted since he's been injured, and people are starting to figure out the offense. Where's Todd Gurley? I think Todd Gurley's not 100% healthy, even though he's not saying anything. Didn't look healthy to me last night. But because if Todd Gurley's healthy, he's got to touch the ball 20 times. He didn't do that last night.
All right, time now for Put a Grade on It, sponsored by CarMax. Nick Foles finished 24 for 31, 270 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. Nick Wright Put a grade on Nick Foles' day yesterday.
B+. The only reason I'm not giving it an A is the one pick he threw was a critical spot. They were up 17. They didn't need to force it there. They could have really iced the game with any points in that situation. He threw a bad pick in the red zone. But aside from that, he gave the offense some juice. He once again, he was ready for the call, and he kept the Eagles season alive. For that reason, I give him a B+.
Yeah, I believe in that. And also the offensive line, the play calling, all those things help support him. Nick Foles needs some type of support. B, I think, is the accurate grade for him.
All right, good stuff. Got to take a break. Coming up, talk some Cowboys. What went so wrong for Dak Prescott and this Dallas team? That's next on First Things First.
Antigenic is everything.